Cindy.
There we go.
Perfect. Well, hello, ladies. Thank you very much for your patience on working through that. And yes, it is about mental fitness. This is just a little bit something about me. I am definitely an advocate for mental health. I have gone through some extensive training because 2020 happened and I had to start life all over again, like so many of us. And I'm a practitioner of neurolinguistics. I'm also a neuroencoding specialist. I've also received certification as a brain health educator and trainer. And I've created a business for personal, professional development, and we're focusing on mental fitness. This is something that I have learned that it's something that we don't take in consideration. It's just like getting like physical fitness. We need to do mental fitness. And what that stems from is, what is neurolinguistics? This is a study of the communication you have with yourself, with others, and how you view the world and how your thoughts are affecting your behavior. So what does that mean? It could be the things that you heard growing up. It could be phrases, words from your bosses, from parents, from your peer group that also created our behavior patterns. And these thoughts are automatically happening in our subconscious and they can affect our behavior. So we want to be aware of these thoughts that happen to pop up in our head, which happen on a regular basis. So welcome, mountain women in business. For you to be your best in business, one thought at a time, you really need to understand how the brain functions, but then also have a few additional tools about how your brain is wired. The first thing we're going to do, because we don't do enough of it, is you're going to be a champion of your celebration. And I am hoping each and every one of you will raise your hand, because I am going to show you how easy it is to celebrate who you are and what you do. We can do 100 to 1,000 things well, but what will we do? We will pick up on that one item that we didn't do well. I should have done it better. I could have done it a different way. Why didn't it go well? So you know what we're going to do? We are going to do it right now. This is an active action item that I want you to all raise your hand above your head. Come on, join me. Raise your hand above your head. Now I want you to turn your hand behind you so the hand is facing the wall behind you. And now bend at the elbow. And then just tap your back. This is a way that you are able to praise yourself. And it's that easy. Be the champion of your celebration. Celebrate your small wins and your big wins. Stop beating yourself up on the things that you may not have accomplished well. Know that you have been accomplishing things all along in your life. Hey, you showed up for today's meeting, right? Celebrate. Hello, I made it. Celebrate. Hey, I've had to figure out technology, right? We had a little glitch. Woohoo! I'm celebrating. I'm not going to focus. I'm not going to take my focus and focus on what didn't go well. We stumbled. It's okay. We figured it out. Yes, that is what we focus on. So the one thing you take from this is if you start being able to champion your celebration, then you're ahead of the game than a lot of other people. So now let's learn a little bit something about the brain. You have the hardware and you also have the software. The hardware is the skull. The software is the brain. So the software, if you think of this as a computer, the software is all the little intricacies of the brain, every avenue, every neuron, every little message flowing through your brain. And there are sections of your brain that affect different parts of your life, parts of your body, what you need to do. But your software is inundated every day with information. It is taking information in, it's having to funnel it and file it. So something you want to keep an eye on is information overload, ladies, information overload. We receive information, 2 million bits of information per second. And you're wondering, how is that possible? Well, we receive in 5 different ways from auditory, visual, smell, touch, taste. So the chair you're sitting on, your body is taking that in. Is this comfortable or not? Maybe I need another cushion. Maybe I should get a new chair. Your brain is constantly working through all of our 5 senses. This is how we receive so much information in such a short period of time. Now, how does the brain process it? It will either generalize it, it can delete, and it can distort. Generalizing. We could just have phrases that say all or nothing or never, and we just generalize. Deleting, we may not take in all the information. We might only take in a certain piece of information and forget a certain piece. Sometimes this happens during communication, like maybe when you're communicating with your spouse. I certainly have that effect. I've noticed that my communication skills with my husband have certainly changed over the 14 years that we've been together, realizing that he's only taking in certain information. He may distort it slightly because who knows what he was thinking of at the time, or he might generalize. It happens, but we need to be aware that our brain is taking in so much information, it has to find a way to process it. So keep in mind, on a regular basis, this is how much information your brain is having to deal with on a regular basis. And it's an overload. It's an overload. So give yourself some grace and ease of all the thoughts that your brain is having to process. Because like any filing system, it's filing this information away because your brain is designed to protect you when maybe something scary happens or you have to do something new. Your brain is going to go in and go, well, this is how we did it before. Your brain is going to go into the filing system to try to help you overcome some obstacles. But it can also get us into trouble because if we've had traumatic experiences and had certain reactions, your brain may tell you to react the same way again. And this is where mental fitness comes into place. Our thoughts are powerful and they affect our mood, brain, mind, health, everything that we do. If you've ever had one of those moments where I've had this thought, it's like, why did my mood change? What was my posture like? When you understand that our thoughts are that powerful to affect everything that we do, you're going to be ahead of the game. You want to be the gatekeeper of your thoughts, because your thoughts not only affect all the things that we just had, they also affect our happy chemicals, and I'm going to tell you how to hack into those, but also a harmful chemical. And these are all brain chemicals. The first happy chemical is dopamine. Remember, every thought that you have creates a chemical. So if you live in a stressful state on a regular basis or a worry state, you're creating cortisol. How can we reverse that? Dopamine. This is the reward, the happy chemical. And as you can see, we already did that by doing a praise. We praised ourselves when we first got on this call, and that created dopamine. This is a quick way to be able to shift your mood, shift your posture, is to go through the different types of happy chemicals. The next chemical is the endorphin. This is the painkiller. It wants to reduce our pain, our perception of pain, even emotional pain. What is the best way if you're feeling emotional pain? And Lord behold, that the past 2 years or nearly 3, we have been through a lot of emotional pain. Best way to be able to tap into this instead of staying in that stress mode, exercise, walk in nature, listen to music, and if anything, watch a good chick flick. Because what's great about a chick flick, it makes you laugh. And so it's also laughter. Oxytocin, it's the love hormone. This is the one that we have missed out on. This is the crucial one that we have missed out on for the past 2.5 years because of socializing. When you socialize, you get that love connection. This is giving us the oxytocin that we need. We have suffered greatly for not being able to socialize or have that, physical touch. For those that have animals, you're ahead of the game because, boy, I'll tell you what, my animals got a lot of loving in the 2.5 years. But then what it also is helping others. And that's what you guys get to do when you meet for your meetings, is you're helping each other with your businesses and you're connecting. Happy chemicals are important. So when you find yourself in a stressful situation, remember the chemicals that you can tap into. And who doesn't want a mood stabilizer, right? Serotonin. Serotonin is simply fabulous. You can get this through sun exposure, mindfulness, being thankful, being grateful, doing a journal, writing down what you're grateful for. You are introducing serotonin to your brain and reducing the stress hormone, which is cortisol. Meditation, we heard a lady today, she does meditation, yoga classes, brilliant ways to be able to introduce serotonin. A lot of these things we are not necessarily aware of, but these are simple practices for mental fitness to keep you on your game and not allow you to stay in a suffering state. Life is not meant to be a struggle. It's meant to be joyful. And coming out of these last 2.5 years, it is time for us to start tapping into our happy chemicals and start living, brilliant lives. Cortisone, you've heard me say it more than once. This is the stress hormone. How do we introduce cortisone to our system? Well, here's just a few examples. Getting upset, yelling, frowning, fighting, worry. The body needs a balance of all of these. If we have too much cortisone, it can cause damage to our body. It can create illness. And this is not where we want to be. So to be able to get yourself out of this state of stress or worry, you've got the little tools to be able to tap into your happy chemicals. Now, one of the biggest things that I love to talk about are ants. And you're like, what? Nope, these aren't the ants at the picnic table. However, you know how it is if you have one ant that shows up when you put the picnic table food out. It's okay. Then maybe he brings his buddies. Maybe not so okay. Well, ants are automatic, negative thoughts, A-N-T. And guess what? We are all subject to it. They do not discriminate. The majority of us all are affected by automatic negative thoughts. And here are 7 of the highly regarded thoughts. The all or nothing ant. This ant is basically saying always, never, none, everyone. This is like when you generalize, when we're processing information and we generalize that information. We use these words always. I'm always late. I'm always sick. Everyone hates me at work. These are some of the phrases. I'm sure that you can come up with some of your own phrases that you would use these words. These words we do not want to use. What we would prefer using is maybe, sometime, perhaps. So part of the mental fitness process is to catch yourself when you're using certain words and say, nope, I'm not going to use that word anymore. I'm going to change it. So the all or nothing and. How about just the bad ant? Just the bad ant. This little devil, you know what he'll do? He's going to take a beautiful situation and find the one negative thing that happened. For example, I had a gentleman share this story with me. I was giving this presentation to a work group, and he bought his wife a new used car. You know, it was used, but it was new for them. And he was so excited for his wife to receive this car. She looked at the car and went, "This is great, honey, yay. Oh, I wish it had leather interior." Have you ever had situations like that where you've had this wonderful experience or something exciting, but somebody poo-poos on your party? Well, that's just the bad ant. We take something beautiful and we create a negative. Basically, stop at the point that you think you're going to do a negative. Stop that process in your head. Say, nope, I am thankful, I'm grateful for the beautiful new car or this new situation or this new opportunity. And don't go any further if you're going to make it a bad thing. Stop that thought. Oh, now this is a goodie. The guilt beating ant. Oh, yeah. I am sure the majority of you have been doing the shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? I always call this the shoulda, coulda, woulda ant. I should have done this. I could have been better. You know what I'm talking about. How about we change that dialogue and say, I must, I will, I want to. These fit my goals. These are more the positive, empowering words we should use. Catch yourself when you're getting ready to use the shoulda, coulda, woulda word, because that's the guilt beating ant. And this guilt beating ant is basically self-defeating. Stop putting yourself in a self-defeating mindset. Once again, mental fitness is all about understanding our thoughts because they are so powerful. Labeling ants. The labeling ant, this little sucker, well, it basically robs our brain the ability to assess situations and people properly. When we think growing up, or sometimes we adopt phrases and words like, oh, I'm so silly. Oh, that was so stupid. Oh, I'm such a moron. We say it just kind of flippantly, but what we're telling our brain and every cell in our body that this particular situation is a direct relation to these words or phrases. The brain will not know the difference. Remember, it generalizes, deletes, and distorts, and it files information away. So every time you hear these phrases or say them yourself, you keep creating this bigger filing system of the brain saying, oh, so that individual is stupid, or that individual is a moron. It doesn't know the difference. And plus, you shouldn't be labeling yourself other than with positive phrases that I am successful, I am glorious, I am beautiful, I can do this. We want to support ourselves in a positive way because the negative labeling really grows like when I mentioned here, the ruts are deeper within our brain because every time we use those phrases, a rut is built. And you say it again and a bigger rut is built. And then we start believing we start believing these words and phrases, and we create an identity that's how we identify with people around us, who people think that we are, and potentially our view on the world. Labeling is something that we need to stop doing unless it's in a positive, uplifting way. So if you catch yourself doing this, find other words, positive, inspiring words for yourself, to be able to really showcase who you truly are. The fortune teller ant. Now, I am sure a lot of you have one of those little fortune teller balls, right? Or was it the crazy 8-ball where we shook it up and asked the question and went, okay, give me the answer? Well, the fortune teller ant's almost basically the same thing. We are thinking what other people are thinking. Like we're thinking that what their future holds for us, but it's in a negative way. We don't want to do that either. We don't want to predict our future in a negative way. We want to visualize our future bright, successful. And in business, if we are thinking that we are not going to do very well in life, in business, or make the right decisions, or be able to work with our clients, we're predicting our future as a failure. And you don't want to predict your future as a failure. You really want to focus on creating this positive outlook for yourself, for your business, and for your life. Now, the mind reader. This is the one I always like to tell folks, that you have a superpower and you didn't even know it if you are capable of reading other people's minds. For example, I've had this situation before. I had a boss kind of give me a weird glance, and I used to work in corporate, and I'm like, oh my God, what did that mean? What does it mean by that look? And I would assume that I've done something wrong by the way my boss looked at me. You have a friend that maybe you haven't been in touch with for a while, and you automatically assume that they don't like you anymore. But in reality, you really don't know, because you have not spoken to the person. You're thinking, or these thoughts have created this belief pattern that because somebody hasn't reached out to you, either they're mad at you or they no longer want to talk to you. Our ants can really cause conflict when there is no conflict. I had one client tell me that she created this whole scenario that her friend was so upset with her that she was mad for a whole weekend. Sometimes we get these thoughts, and we have one thought that leads to another thought, and it spirals out of control. So if you are thinking that somebody else is thinking something about you, and you think that you have this tremendous superpower, ask yourself, how true is this statement? How true is this thought that I'm having about this situation or somebody else thinking about me? Because most likely it's false. It's false. Oh, and by the way, we really don't have the superpower. Sorry. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but we don't have the superpower to read other people's minds. And number 7, the blaming ant. The blaming ant, well, quite honestly, this is the one that can get us into trouble, because we're not willing to accept our own actions, or taking our own. It makes us play as a victim, and we want to blame others instead of taking on our own responsibility. The blaming ant can really get us into trouble. I also like to call it the red raging ant, because when it truly comes down to it, we allow this ant to take personal power over us, and it leaves us powerless. And that's not a really good place to be. So the blaming ant, if you find yourself blaming others or blaming situations or blaming the dog that ate your homework, or you were late because of traffic, really think about how you can make some changes in your life to get rid of the blaming ant, because the blaming ant just creates a dangerous situation for all of us. That was a quick overview of the program that I present. Oh, and let's not forget the colony of ants. Oh, shoot. You just don't have to suffer from one. You could suffer from all of them or a couple of them, and they could actually create this internal dialogue in your head. So I'd ask you, be honest with yourself. Are you suffering from any ant? And if so, how many? And will you make the changes that you need to make? Because when it really comes down to mental fitness, we want to control our thoughts, because our thoughts are extremely powerful. And this is an amazing quote by Gandhi. I didn't know the power of this quote, but I've always had the quote available to me. But now I do understand from all the training and workshops that I do of how powerful our thoughts are, because our thoughts do become our words. And then from our words, they become our behaviors. And then we create these behaviors which create our habits. And then we also have our habits create our values, and ultimately it's our destiny. Gandhi was amazing when he said this. And it's something that I live by, and I hope you will too. It all starts with a thought. And this is how it affects our life. So I do have programs for personal and professional development. They are for all ages. And what I just put you through was a quick little overview of stomping out your ant. But there's also a piece that is thieves that steal your dreams, which is an additional portion. And then I also create, for this personal development is the success cycle and then the wheel of fortune. So that's one of my programs. Then if you want to create your compelling future, it includes all of the things from stomp out your ants and the thieves that steal your dreams. But I've also included here the 12 fire-breathing dragons. This basically goes through a lot of our emotional, like anxiety and a number of other factors. So we also go through those. And then brain fit for work and life. This is something that individuals can do, but it's also great for business owners. And it's all neuro-based science. All of these courses have been tested and proven to really make some profitable changes for individuals and to live successfully, but also have successful businesses. And then my mantra. When things are just kind of getting you down or you want to start your day, this is my personal mantra. And not only do I say it out loud, I say it with emotion, because this is how we should be speaking to ourselves on a regular basis. I am happy, healthy, wealthy, and kind. I love me. I love my life. I am glorious. I am effing glorious. For those who like to cut, go ahead and say the word. I don't. That's okay. But come up with a mantra to help support yourself, because it's important. It's important. And then ladies, thank you. It was a pleasure to be your speaker, to showcase a little how you can do mental fitness on a regular basis to support yourself and your business. And this is how you can get a hold of me or connect with me on Facebook, LinkedIn, or Instagram. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. So much great information. It seems so simple to, with that mental process, but we all do it. I mean, I think of cringe moments from years ago of who I might have offended. And I know it's the waste of time to run that through. So very interesting stuff, Cindy. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Thank you. I'm an
Rachel,
overshare, so
so
I'm
much.
trying to get in as much as I could in 40 minutes.
I know, it was just perfect, just perfect.
No,
Rachel.
it was wonderful. Thank you so much. There's so many little things in there that I was checking off, and I'm like proud of myself that I do this without consciously, doing it. Like the sun's out. I need 20 minutes of sun today on my deck. I was upset yesterday, so I removed myself from sitting at house feeling bad about myself and went and got Chinese food that makes me happy. All these different things that we do that we don't realize we do sometimes. And your statement is so important about what other people think. If it's important, make the damn phone call and find out, do we have a problem? Can we fix something? Or is it all in my head and stupid? And I'm not a huge fan, but something Dr. Phil used to say years ago, you worry about what people think about you, you'd be shocked at how much they're not thinking about you at all. And it has nothing to do with you, something to that effect. And just that we are worth it. I do cuss. I have F-bomb Fridays on my personal private post lately because it helps me vent and say I am a effing badass and I deserve all of these good things, and I try to put these good things out into the world, and sometimes it's easier said than done, but I love you, I miss you, and that was amazing.
Thank you, sweetie. Thank
I'm
you.
so glad you shared with us.
Yes.
Yeah, and if you know of any, I want to connect with organizations or conferences to be able, I really want to get in front of as many people as I can, because mental fitness is the name of the game. I really want to stomp out the stigma of mental health, and I want people to really start focusing on how they can take better care of themselves mentally.
I love that.
Well, we will put a post on our Facebook pages too this morning about what a wonderful presentation. And if anyone's interested in this type of thing, please contact you. If you could send me, email me your business logo or something and how to reach you, I'll get that on our page as well.
And I think Cindy Denson has a quick question.
Yeah, I just wanted to reinforce what Rachel said, and I thought everything you said is so right on. And about the fact that even those of us that think we're great at this, we're just humans and we do this. And, the piece about not projecting on other people, I think is really important. How many times do we walk around thinking someone's thinking something, but even if they are, it's funny, I'm a conflict adverse person. So because of that, I just hit it head on. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I've always been a fan of, if your intuition tells you there is something going on with a relationship, that you just, why carry that around and make a big deal out of it? You just ask someone,
Address it.
Like, hey, am I making this up, or is something going on? And it goes either way, right? But it takes it out of our.
Can we fix it, or is it worth fixing it? And something you have to let go,
But I think, I don't know if it's just a human trait to carry this stuff around with us and let it eat at us versus checking. My husband always says, when I say something to me, he's like, you think you want to check that out with me? Like if I say, I know you're thinking blah, 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 and then I'll check it out. And, sometimes he is, sometimes he's not, but we get it out in the open.
Great. Okay, anybody else have a quick comment or before we move on to the announcements?
I do.
Oh, Audrey, go
I'm
ahead.
just wondering if
Audrey.
do you guys know how to take a screenshot? Because I'd like to do a screenshot and then post it of doing a presentation for you on my social media. Can we take a screenshot of all you beautiful faces?
Laura, do you have any suggestions on?
Yeah, I can do it right now. I'll just hold on one second. Wait for it. I gotta open up another thingy. Hold on one second.
Smile.
Where's my tool? Oh, this one.
Everybody should be patting themselves. on the back.
I'll give you a heads up. Okay, entire screen app window. All right. I gotta move this.
Pat yourself on the back. Woohoo.
No, I hit the wrong button. Hold on one sec. Oh, no, it's in the wrong spot.
Alice one.
Hold on. There's like something right in front of it. So hold on one second. Let me try that again.
Give us the 3, 2, 1.
I will. I'll give you entire app window. I gotta move this or this. Okay, move that. Okay. All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, I got it.
Yay, thank you.
Yay.
So Cindy, do you want that sent over to you?
Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, send
Thank
me
you.
that.
I'll send it
Okay.
to you guys.
Great. Okay, so thank you for your time, Cindy. You want to hang out and listen
Wait,
to the announcements? Obviously, you're more than welcome, but Pat, if you do, can you talk
Audrey
just a
had
little bit?
something and Pat did.
Oh, I'm sorry, Audrey. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's okay. I was just, cortisone, you know, the nasty, the negative thoughts that you talked about. Is there by any chance a blood test that a person can take to find out if they've got too much cortisone?
Oh,
I think there is cortisol levels and things.
Yeah.
I do believe there is that type of test to take.
Yes,
I would have
there
to do
is.
some research. Oh,
There
Yeah.
is, yeah. I'm doing a functional medicine program and there are
Good.
tests that can be done for sure.
Good.
Nice. Okay, well, that's interesting because lately, negative sometimes. I can't understand it. And I ask myself and I say, and I do all the things you tell me, meditate, exercise, breathe, I don't have Chinese, Rachel, but I do like Italian. So there you go. And
For
thank you
chocolate.
so much. It really was a good presentation. And thanks for reminding all of us all the wonderful ways we can improve our life. Thank you.
Every day, every hour, all
You
the time.
bet.
So,
That's great. Thanks.
Did
All
Pat
right.
have some announcements?
Yeah, don't forget Elevation Celebration is July 30th and 31st, last weekend in July. There's still room to sign up to be in our booth. Please do. It's a great place to get your business out there. On August 4th, we have our in-person networking, and that'll be at Mountain Resource Center behind the Staples Plaza, on Kitty Drive up there. On August 6th, we have the luncheon at the Meeting Sanctuary. And that's a place, again, to showcase your business. It's for members and guests. Members can showcase their business. August 13th, we have Conifer Fest, which is something we have not been in October 8th, we have a paint and sip party with Rachel, which is always fun. I didn't know I could paint a picture. I actually was kicked out of an art class in college, so. And no, it's true. He asked me what grade I wanted, if he never had to look at my stuff again, and I was like, okay. I couldn't believe it.
Awful.
Yeah.
You did a great job last time.
Well,
Shame
yeah,
on them.
she shows you step by step. So yes, it was pretty amazing. The other thing we're looking at is we had so much fun at the winery with our spouses. So we're looking at that late October, early November, when they aren't quite so busy. And then there will be the Christmas party or breakfast. So showcase your business, get out there. It's even if you don't get somebody right then, it's getting your name out there. That's the really important thing, and credibility for your business.